Today, the spotlight will be on the men and machines at the MTRA, and these headliners will deliver a command performance soaring to new heights with a chorus of crunches. Coming up next, the fireworks will fly at this Hoosier Dome hoedown. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of the Monster Truck Thunder Drags. From the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis, it's the Monster Truck Thunder Drags. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee, and welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power. One luxury to being indoors is the fact we have better control over the elements. Too often, a track may be too wet because of rain or too dry because of the blazing sun. But if there is such a thing as a perfect track, we could have it here in the Hoosier Dome. However, a perfect racetrack does not always make for perfect racing. Here with more on that is my colleague, Army Armstrong. Well, bingo, Gary Lee. You hit the nail on the head. This is perfect conditions. Atmospheric pressure inside the Hoosier Dome makes a maximum horsepower. The clay they're going to be running on, same. It'll hold all that horsepower. The drivers are really excited about it, but it is going to get down to being a driver's track, a thinking track, even with perfect conditions for horsepower and traction. And I tell you why. The starting line, the drivers will have to come out of it like Geronimo on the starting line, but on the other end of the track, they're going to have to tippy-toe. Why? Look over my shoulder, and you'll see something that will not move tonight. It's called a wall. Now, Gary, tell us about that first-round action and all the highlights from qualifying today. Army Gene Patterson in Bigfoot was the fast qualifier. Now remember, the times will be quicker here indoors on a shorter racetrack, and his time was 3.83, which would give him a bye run in that 11-truck format. In round one competition, Mark Hall taking on Fred Schaefer in the near lane. Now watch Fred get crooked coming off that second set of cars, but hangs on to get her woed. He used every inch of shutdown area with that 3.90 time. Andy Brass in Wildfoot taking on Don Van Leeuwen and Magnum Force, and Andy Brass would net the best time of round one.
Brass showing us that starting line would hold the horsepower as he literally did a wheelie up to the first jump, Gary.
Guy Wood in the Hulk taking on Ken Deppy, and watch the abuse Deppy lays on our crush cam.
Oh, here, you hold it next time.
There's Deppy's time of 3.93. Best racing in round one featured John Moore and Kurt Dabney. This would be declared a dead heat. Look at that.
You know, earlier in the week, Moore, who got the crowd behind him to say, let's run it again. They did come back and run it again, and they won. Moore won, but he and his wife they redid their wedding vows, but instead of saying, here comes the bride down the aisle, they had them play Mean Woman Blues, Gary.
Well, also in round one, there is Mrs. Moore. Also in round one, Rick Rattler in Snakebite would best Brian Welsh in Moving Violation.
And once again, the starting line showing it will hold the horsepower.
Rick's time of 3.85. So some highlights from round one. We're going to come back to the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis for quarterfinal action. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome here in Indianapolis for the Monster Truck Thunder Drags, a part of the Penda Point Series. Matchups now for the quarterfinals: Bigfoot against Barefoot, Wildfoot against the Dodge Express, and No Problem, the Ford against the Ford Snakebite.
Well, it's amazing, Gary, how these parallels come down. John Moore with the No Problem Ford has to be the underdog of the field, but he's staying alive, and that's the name of the game here. You take it one round at a time. Speaking of one round, who goes in this one?
Well, the Bigfoot truck, the Ford of Gene Patterson, was the fast qualifier. As we look at Fred Schaefer in the Dodge Barefoot. Now, Bigfoot had a bye in the first round, so he's been watching the action. He knows what the other guys have done in round one, but now he pulls alongside this guy right here from Illinois. Nearest to the camera, Bigfoot, the far lane, Barefoot, Dodge against Ford.
And neither one of them will blink. This is what this sport is all coming down to. Patterson representing the big blue oval bunch. The Ford camp driving a Bigfoot truck going against Schaefer, one of the Dodge boys, trying to pull off that Mopar magic on the far side.
And remember, in this format, the fast loser of this round will come back. So no matter what happens, oh, look at that wheel stand by Fred Schaefer. Hang on. High sides, the Ford but Gene Patterson brings it back down by powering out of it. Fred Schaefer a 3.73, but Bigfoot wins that one. Gene Patterson advances with a 370. That means that Barefoot could come back as the fast loser.
370 and threw in a two-wheelie for us.
Indoors, not a whole lot of shutdown area, and watch this again. Watch the wheel stand first by Schaefer.
Also Patterson, now Patterson did a wheel stand, came off a little bit crooked. When this truck lands, it'll land a little bit cockeyed, and that's what causes it to get up on two wheels. Both drivers literally doing wheelies to get off the starting line.
So Gene Patterson takes that victory, and right now he is standing down along trackside with Army Armstrong.
All right, let me ask you this. You proved one thing. You can't put the brakes on in the air and stop. You've got to get the truck back down on the ground. Good heads-up driving out there, Gene.
Yeah, it's a short track here. Like I said, we're happy the way the truck's performing this weekend so far. We're really looking good. It was a close race. We knew when we pull out there against one of them red trucks, red and blue don't mix, and Bigfoot and Barefoot don't mix neither.
Gary, talk about red and blue not mixing. They make purple. That's the color of a black eye. Back to you.
Well, we take a look now at Wildfoot with Andy Brass, and there is the Dodge Express with Ken Deffey. So once again, we have seen more and more of these Dodge Ford shootouts.
I think we're going to see more as the sport goes along. The big question that Army Armstrong has is, where are the Chevrolet guys in this sport?
Well, Chevrolet may have to go back and regroup, because right now we're seeing more of the Ford and more of the Dodge.
That's all we're seeing, it seems like. Andy Brass, past world champion with the Wildfoot truck, went up against the young gun, the hired gun out of Jeff City, Missouri. Dodge, Ford, what can we say? Let's kick back and watch. Dodge won the last one.
This one will be Ford. Was not that close. Andy Brass, Wildfoot, the latest computerized creation of Bob and Marilyn Chandler with a 3.63 pass. Once again, some slower, some faster times here because it's a shorter track.
Right, exactly.
With the slower times outside. An appreciative crowd, always one of the premier events on the Monster Truck Series as we come indoors here in the Hoosier Dome.
Well, Gary, it's Indianapolis. These people really appreciate good motorsports, and that's exactly what they're looking at right now. They're used to it.
Well, there's a look at Andy Brass as he is climbing out of the cockpit. Let's go talk to him.
Andy, it looks like y'all are getting a real weird twist out of there.
Well, we've been watching the right lane or the left lane over there a little bit, and it's been seeming to throw everybody to the right. So I just kind of end up staged a little bit. The Ford's been doing us a good job. We've been putting the horsepower to the ground today. We're getting good traction off the line, with the Firestone tires. The suspension doing us a good job, but still, it's tweaking us to the right. We're just going to have to compensate for it.
Next pairing, John Moore, the cheerleader in the No Problem Ford, and he'll go up against Rick Rattler in Snakebite. Great shot of the Ford No Problem.
Now, John Moore and this vehicle have tried to bring over a lot of the technology from the sport of off-road racing. He's out of Lafayette, Tennessee. He and his lovely wife, Heidi, and her daughter, Jill, they put their heart and soul into this operation, but you mentioned the word tweak a while ago. They just can't seem to get the truck to react as quick as a truck such as a Snakebite truck with its type of suspension.
A pair of Fords,
but two completely different philosophies in what's going to make a monster truck run. Rick Rattler out of Cobra Creek, he's running a tried and true setup, the 4-link type setup. But John Moore in the far lane runs a leaf spring setup that's very successful off-road, but we're not running 2,000 miles or 1,000 miles of Baja. We're just trying to go about 200 feet inside the Hoosier Dome.
And these vehicles make a ton of horsepower, and we can tell you a ton of noise. Just kind of echoes throughout reverberates throughout this huge facility in downtown Indianapolis. Huh? You heard me. And it's all Rick Rattler in Snakebite. The Snakebite will advance. I would not think that John Moore's time will be quick enough to make him the fast loser. Make that a 3.73. John Moore at 4.10. So Barefoot would be the fast loser. He'll come back in the semifinals. One more look at the victory for the Snakebite Ford.
What's amazing is a Snakebite, how he powers the front wheels up with that 10,000-pound truck.
Rick Rattler is standing down with Army Armstrong as he climbs out of his rig.
Rick, I tell you, John Moore looks like he had a handle on this thing tonight. He gave you a good race.
Yeah, he did, Army. The Ford Snakebite's really running well. I've been cutting good lights all night. Thanks to the crew, we've been staying on top of that. That time there, I don't know what happened. I think I was taking a nap or something. I can't blame anything on the truck or anything else. This track's really hooking, and we're really running, and it's working well.
So the Snakebite will be one of 4 trucks in the semifinals. Coming up next, the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis. What else would you expect but a huge crowd here in the Hoosier Dome? These fans love their monster truck racing. We're coming right back at you. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Monster Truck Thunder Drags from the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis. This, as we said earlier, is one of the biggest stops on the Monster Truck calendar. We had a spectacular opening fireworks display. Such a great job by the Special Events Promotion Company who put on the great NTRA Monster Truck racing you see on Trucks and Tractor Power. And hey, look at this. The Wheelie King, Doug DeMocas, put on a great exhibition with his ATV motorcycle and also his two-wheeler. Of course, Army Armstrong, you taught Doug how to do all this, didn't you?
Everything he knows how to do. That's right.
Yeah, I want to see you try this sometime.
You believe that, folks?
Most impressive. And watch this. Dan Elders on his motorcycle lights himself on fire and makes this jump. What a way to make a living. I think I'll stay in the broadcast booth, Army.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now, Gary,
now
it's about time for him to stop.
Oh, well, he did. Head first. And he walks away and takes a bow. Now, I think I'll stick to broadcasting.
If you don't mind, I'll stay with you.
Instant replay, motorcycle stops, and he continues on in. Oh, duck, he doesn't get all the way around. I thought he'd hurt his neck.
Where'd he go?
Well, he's down there someplace, but he's okay. Oh, man.
Oh, to be young again, right, Gary Lee?
Yeah, to be young and foolish. Taking a look now at the semifinal pairings. Bigfoot against Barefoot and Wildfoot against Snakebite. So 1 Dodge and 3 Fords, and there is the lone Dodge, the former drag racer, Brett Schaefer.
Now, the track itself, it likes this Dodge because the Dodge runs a Lenco transmission. Now, those of you that follow drag race know what I'm talking about. It's a specially designed racing transmission. The Ford you're looking at here runs a C6 transmission. You can buy them all day long at your local Ford dealer. So the transmission advantage at this time, in my opinion, would have to go to the red Dodge. However, the last time they met, that transmission could make up the top end charge of the big blue Ford, Gary.
Yeah, that was in round 2 when Bigfoot won and Barefoot comes back as the fast loser. But here we are in the semifinals. The winner here goes to the championship.
And Barefoot has made a change in that transmission, trying to make up the difference. Look at that.
Oh, Bigfoot by maybe a foot, a big foot. We'll check the times now at 3.66 for Gene Patterson. But 3.66 to a 3.68.
But the difference on the replay comes up. Look at the attitude of the Dodge truck. He changed that transmission we were talking about, so the power came in at a completely different time. They both get over the first jump pretty clean, but right now the Dodge really goes up on the RPM and the Ford goes to the other end.
But by the narrowest of margins, Bigfoot Gene Patterson will advance and the Barefoot monster truck will go on the trailer. So Bigfoot will go to the championship here at the Hoosier Dome. And right now, let's go down trackside and see if we can't get a word with Gene Patterson. Army?
Congratulations, Gene. That was a beautiful run, but you were driving big time trying to stop that rascal.
Yeah, you know, that's right. Gary Sleet's been out here on the track with us, as he is with every show. You know, in this Ford, we got her tuned in. You know, we're making all kinds of horsepower. We're having a real hard time sticking it to the track. We're really overdriving the truck. We're just hoping when we sit down it's propelling us forward, which it has been all night long, you know, and the Trailmasters are really working good for us. MSD, we just put new crank triggers on it. It's working for us, too. We're in the finals. That's where we want to be set.
Well, we can tell you the finals will be all Ford because coming up now we'll have Wildfoot, the near lane with Andy Brass. He is staging against Snakebite and Rick Rattler.
Rattler being the oldest designed truck out here today with the 4-link tight suspension. Meanwhile, Wildfoot comes out, Andy Brass. They are working their way through this field, but it's not an easy mark. In the second round, they literally tore the bottom off the truck. They had to hammer and nail to get it back together just to get to this matchup against the other Ford. Snakebite, Gary.
All right, Snakebite the far lane, Wildfoot with Andy Brass the near lane. The winner will take on Bigfoot for the championship here in the Hoosier Dome.
Boy, Brass looks like he and the crew have found the right combination.
Brass a 3.56, so he will go to the finals. We take a look now at the time for Snakebite, a 3:66.
He was right there, Gary.
Yeah, but Andy Brass will continue on, so it will be Bigfoot and Wildfoot in the finals here at the Hoosier Dome in downtown Indianapolis. There, a look at the margin of victory.
Hold your horses, Gary. We don't know if this final's set or not. The word we're getting is that Wildfoot may have broken something on that run, may not make the final, so that'll bring Snakebite back into this. Let's keep an eye on this situation.
As we take a look at the run again, remember we told you after round 2, the Wildfoot crew had to work on the rear axle. That may be the problem area right now. There was the margin of victory, but again, Wildfoot may not be able to go against Bigfoot in the finals, and that would put Snakebite in against Bigfoot. Let's talk to Andy Brass. Army?
Andy, a lot of discussion out there. The transmission's laying all the way back up to the finish line. What's the word? Do you make the call, or who makes the call as to whether or not you're going to go into this thing?
Well, usually my crew chief makes the call here today. You know, we're running into a problem. We got no forward gears, no reverse gears. We got nothing in it. I don't know if it's just we lost that much transmission fluid that it's just not going to go no more, or if we broke something like a main shaft, front input shaft, or something in the transmission itself.
So Brass's misfortune could put the Snake in the finals. We're coming back with the finals momentarily. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, where the finals are set. Andy Brass will not be able to go, so it will be Rick Rattler and Snakebite taking on Gene Patterson and Bigfoot. And earlier, Army had a chance to talk with Andy Brass.
Gary, I'm standing there with Andy Brass. I just got one thing to say. Broke your truck, huh?
Yeah, we did. You know, the Ford Wildfoot was running good for us tonight. You know, the track's real tacky with the Firestone's getting us a lot of good traction. We got that John Cosby Hemi motor, Ford Hemi, that we put there, and she just building some horsepower, and the transmission's now starting to fail us. So we're going to find our weak link, which is what we feel now is the transmission.
Andy Brass wasn't the only one tough on his equipment as Rick Rattler prepares for the finals. We want to show you some of the highlights from our tough truck competition. Always a delight of the fans.
Well, you got to remember, these guys, this is the big tough competition. All these guys are here because they qualified by virtue of doing something spectacular.
Like that.
Like that, yeah.
Well, if you can't win, be spectacular. He was. The roll cage held, and he walks away. Look at this. There goes the toolbox.
All right, time to left turn, Klein. Bring it on home. Gary, these guys are having a ball.
Is this what you call beaters, the kind you drive to work every day?
Gary, this is the kind of car I drive to work every day.
Look out! We almost had a T-bone collision.
Now we got to go. Who's going to make it to the end? They're lining up. They're taking a shot at it.
We need to try this sometime. Let's have a match race, you and me.
No way, Jose.
Oh, the fans love the tough truck competition.
Well, it gives the average guy on the street an opportunity to take his truck out and have some fun and just kind of go head over heels for a good time. What'd I say?
Head over heels, no pun intended. There goes the windshield.
Yeah, but the American flag didn't touch the ground. I like that guy. All right.
Well, back to the action now at the starting line, Snakebite and Bigfoot, and there are the crew members.
We've got another competition, the international arm crossing competition between their crew members.
All they can do is watch. They prepare these trucks the best they can, so now it's up to Gene Patterson and Rick Rattler for the championship here in the Hoosier Dome.
Rattler's not even supposed to be here, so I'll guarantee you one thing. He is not going to let anybody blink on him. He's got something to prove. The only reason he's here is Andy Brass could not make the call. Bigfoot worked his way to the final, Gary. Keep an eye on that snake truck. He's got something to prove right now.
And he did it. He did it, Snakebite. Rick Rattler.
What a run.
Takes the victory at a 3:75.
You almost knew when he got the call to come back into it, he's like a fighter getting second wind. He was going to prove that he could run with these old boys. And guess what, Gary Lee? He did just that.
A look again at our final run here in the Hoosier Dome. Ford against Ford, and there is the margin of victory for Rick Rattler. One more look now as he knocks out Gene Patterson and Bigfoot. Let's go to victory lane, Army.
What can I say? Congratulations. It didn't come easy. Had to work for every inch of it, but everybody's so proud of you for this win. I mean, all the other teams are just really happy you won this one.
Yeah, they are, Army. You know, Ford Snakebite's really been running well. I got to thank my crew. I got to thank Kenny. The guys back in the shop. Colt's going to be real happy with this one. You know, it's not as good as we did last year, but it's doing well, and we'll be back again next year to get this blue truck. I'm quite sure of that. It's just I'm really rattled. I got to go call somebody.
For the second straight season, it's been Stake Fight winning here in the Hoosier Dome. That'll wrap it up from Indianapolis. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's word of an exciting new video offer from Diamond P Sports. Bring the excitement of monster truck and mud racing to your living room with the addition of Diamond P's latest home video. Believe me, folks, third time's a charm. Shake, battle, and roll number 3. It's all new and all you come to expect, from the outrageous mishaps of the monster truck racing to the raucous rampage through the mud bogs. Shake, battle, and roll 3 is a must for any and every monster truck fan in the house. Over 60 minutes of jarring and pounding, mud and mayhem, and accelerated aerobatics you don't want to miss. To get your copy of Shake, Battle, and Roll 3, call 1-800-438-8585 or send $19.95 check or money order plus $4 shipping and handling to the address shown on your screen, or charge it on your MasterCard, Visa, or Discovery card. Call 1-800-438-8585 for Shake, Battle, and Roll 3.